I lived for 2 weeks in the bottom of the sea.
Oh, Jesus.
The scariest thing I saw.
Scariest things the divers have recorded.
We've all heard tales of incredible underwater encounters, right? But have you ever seen one with your own eyes?
We meet on the bottom and begin our exploration of the wreck.
Well, get ready because in this video, I'm taking you beneath the waves to witness some truly unbelievable moments captured by divers. 1. Carnivorous sea slug. Deep beneath the waves off Bali, divers stumbled upon a scene straight out of a sci-fi movie. They captured the carnivorous sea slug, Melibea viridis, in action in the most bizarre way. Now get this, the Melibea viridis turns its head into a literal fishing net. Its head is all gelatinous and weirdly large, perfect for laying flat on the seafloor. When it senses some unsuspecting small crustaceans nearby, bam! It throws its head over them like a trap. Those tiny sensors around the edges, they're not just for show. They help the sea slug feel when the prey is close enough. Once contact is made, the head snaps shut and dinner is served. Wild, right? The whole freaky feed was caught on camera by a diver, Emmerich Ben-Halassa. The footage, now buzzing all over the internet, shows the sea slug in action, repeatedly snagging snacks from the ocean floor. Though it might look like something from another planet, the Melibea viridis is just doing its thing, growing up to 5 inches long and chilling in the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans and even the Mediterranean Sea. Harmless to us, but a total nightmare for its prey. 2. Mysterious circular patterns on the ocean floor. Back in 1995, some divers off the southern coast of Japan stumbled upon something bizarre. These huge, intricate circles etched into the ocean floor. They looked like underwater crop circles, 7 feet across, and no one could figure out what was up with them. This underwater enigma had everyone scratching their heads for over a decade. Then, plot twist in 2011. These were not the works of underwater aliens, but of a crafty little artist known as the white-spotted pufferfish. These little guys, just about 5 inches long, were the Picassos of the sea. They'd spend a whole week tirelessly swirling around, using their fins to carve out valleys and pile up ridges, making these mind-blowing symmetrical patterns in the sand. Why, you ask? It was all for love. These circles were basically love nests designed to woo the ladies. The male pufferfish would even decorate the ridges with shells and bits of coral to jazz it up, hoping to impress a female. If she liked what she saw, she'd lay her eggs right in the center for him to fertilize. Then, like a true gent, he'd hang around to guard the eggs until they hatched. 3. Mysterious underwater bubbles. Off the chilly coast of Norway, divers stumbled upon something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Enormous underwater bubbles, each over 1 meter wide, eerily hovering between the seabed and the surface. For years, this baffling phenomenon had scientists and divers scratching their heads. Were they signs of volcanic mischief, or perhaps some weird underwater chemical shenanigans? But hold your breath, because the truth is even more bizarre. After some top-notch detective work involving DNA analysis, the curtain was finally pulled back. These bubbles are actually gigantic squid egg nurseries. Yep, these transparent mucus-eye orbs are packed with thousands of eggs from the elusive squid, Ilex coindetii. Divers say these bubbles have an otherworldly vibe, floating like ghostly orbs in the watery shadows. They're not just cool to look at, but also crucial in keeping the little squid embryos safe from the dangers lurking underwater. Now, scientists are diving deeper into these squid bubbles, eager to learn all about how these squishy bundles of future calamari develop. 4. human-sized jellyfish. In the somewhat spooky depths off the coast of Cornwall, England, marine biologist Lizzie Daly and underwater cinematographer Dan Abbott stumbled upon a true oceanic titan during their dive in July 2019. Imagine floating face-to-face with a barrel jellyfish as big as a human. This behemoth, known scientifically as Rhizostoma pulmo, but affectionately dubbed the dustbin lid jellyfish, usually maxes out around 3 feet. But this particular jelly wasn't playing by the rules, stretching nearly 5 feet across. It's like something out of an underwater fairy tale, complete with a ghostly globular head and 8 puffy arms trailing behind. Caught during Daly's Wild Ocean Week, a campaign aimed at throwing a spotlight on marine conservation, this eerie encounter-turned-viral sensation was both humbling and a bit unnerving. Despite its formidable size and stinging tentacles, this gentle giant was as harmless as they come, sporting only a mild sting that's nothing to humans. While you might usually find these jellies washed up like mysterious oceanic debris, catching one alive and pulsing through its natural habitat is a rare thrill. From tiny 1-millimeter babies to 5-foot wonders, these jellies show just how wild and unpredictable the ocean can be. 5. Porcupine fish rescue. A porcupine fish found itself trapped in a discarded fishing net in the warm waters of Southeast Asia. Now these aren't just any fish, they puff up and sport long, sharp spines when threatened. There it was, stuck when some snorkelers stumbled upon it. But wait, it got better. This was no ordinary rescue. The tools, absent. The solution, a piece of broken glass. A volunteer from Core C, diving into action, used this makeshift tool to cut the fish free. And get this, throughout the ordeal, another porcupine fish, probably its mate, stayed right by its side. The whole scene was caught on video, pulling at the heartstrings of everyone watching and shining a spotlight on the plight of sea creatures caught in human trash. It was a wild reminder of how quick thinking and a touch of bravery can turn a dicey situation into a victory for wildlife conservation. 6. Sunken plains. You won't believe what some divers have found under the sea. Sunken plains. It's like a history book just burst open and scattered its secrets across the ocean floor.
What the Hornet is most famous for is for launching the Doolittle strike against Japan in April of 1942.
Take this wild find in Truk Lagoon, for example, where a bunch of American WWU planes were discovered chilling under the water after taking part in Operation Hailstone in 1944. We're talking about dauntless dive bombers and Avenger torpedo bombers, folks. These planes had been playing hide-and-seek for over 70 years, hiding deep between 100 to 215 feet under the waves, all covered in coral, but still striking as ever. And that's not all. Over off Miami Beach, divers stumbled upon a WWI-era Grumman F-6F Hellcat fighter. This beast lies 240 feet deep, and it's not just a dive site, but a downright hauntingly beautiful spot. Up in Lake George, New York, another set of divers found not just a plane, but a whole party of treasures like a car and a boat by Hearthstone State Park. This plane, preserved in the cold, clear water, just adds to the eerie allure of Lake George's underwater scene. 7. Confused remora. In this hilarious underwater video, a group of divers near Hurghada, Egypt, were cruising through a coral reef when they encountered a bewildered remora fish. Normally, these suckerfish stick to bigger buddies like sharks or whales, using a natural suction disc on their heads to hitch a ride. But this time, the remora goofed up, big time. It mistook one of the divers for a giant sea creature. Caught on camera, the scene shows this persistent little fish trying its hardest to latch onto the diver, mistaking his suit for the usual scaly host. The diver kept his cool, continuing his underwater tour while the remora kept at it, nudging and pecking at his gear in hopes of catching a free ride. Remoras are typically 1 to 3 feet long and usually enjoy the perks of traveling with large marine animals, like dining on their meal leftovers. This mix-up under the sea not only gave the divers a good chuckle, but also reminded us just how unpredictable and amusing marine life can be. 8. Christ of the Abyss. Beneath the waves off the coast of Key Largo, Florida, lies a sight that might just make you believe in miracles, or at least in the power of really eerie underwater statues. Meet the Christ of the Abyss, a bronze figure of Jesus Christ with arms outstretched, as if welcoming the curious and the faithful alike. This submerged sensation is one of several replicas scattered around the globe, with the original set down in the Mediterranean back in 1954 near San Frutuoso, Italy. Dreamed up by Italian sculptor Guido Galletti, it was a heartfelt tribute to Dario Gonzatti, the first Italian to master scuba gear before tragically losing his life in the deep. 9. Deep-sea hydrothermal vents. In the deep, dark ocean where no light dares to tread, there's something straight out of a sci-fi movie. The deep-sea hydrothermal vents. In 1977, scientists aboard the submersible Alvin were cruising along the Galapagos Rift when bam! They stumbled upon these underwater fireworks. These vents aren't just any seafloor spectacle, they're like geysers, but underwater. Seawater slips into Earth's crust, gets jazzed up by the heat of magma, and then whoosh, it shoots back out, packed with minerals. These aren't your garden variety minerals either. We're talking sulfur and iron, which cool down to form what look like dark, spooky towers known as black smokers. And get this, around these eerie chimneys, life thrives. Forget sunlight. These creatures are all about chemosynthesis. 10. Underwater forest. Divers stumbled upon something truly wild off the coast of Alabama, an ancient underwater forest. It was a sprawling, submerged forest of bold cypress trees that had been hiding under the sea for over 50,000 years. This eerie time capsule was thrown into the spotlight by Hurricane Ivan back in 2004, which ripped through the ocean floor sediments covering it. Now, imagine diving 60 feet down into the Gulf of Mexico, about 10 miles from Gulf shores, and seeing tree trunks as thick as trucks in an otherworldly, oxygen-free zone. This forest got trapped in time, perfectly preserved from the days when ice ages ruled, and sea levels were way lower. Initially, local fishermen kept this hotspot hush-hush because it was swarming with fish. But then, diver Ben Rains got wind of it, explored these ghostly depths, and brought scientists into the loop. 11. Lost shipwrecks. Out of a whopping 176 shipwrecks mapped in the Bahamas, divers have only cracked the case on 19. We're talking about centuries-old vessels, from warships to merchant ships, each with tales of high seas and hidden treasures. These relics not only dish out a treasure trove, but also spill secrets about ancient shipping lanes and the bustling maritime hustle once thriving in these waters.
150 years underwater have taken a toll on the steel hull, bending it flat and breaking all the ribs in the process.
Jumping over to Norfolk, UK, we have the HMS Gloucester, a royal ship from the 17th century that met its doom in 1682 thanks to a sneaky sandbank. Discovered by the Barnwell brothers, this wreck is like a submerged time capsule, packed with artifacts and stories, especially about James Stewart, the Duke who'd later be King James II. Now let's paddle over to Lake Erie, where the Cleveland underwater explorers, Clue, found not just a rock, but the Lake Serpent schooner dating back to the early 19th century. And guess what? It sports an epic snake carving on its bow. And for the finale, the Antikythera wreck off Greece. This Roman beauty from around 60 BC isn't just any shipwreck. It held the Antikythera mechanism, dubbed the world's first analog computer. 12. Hidden grottos. Let's talk about a mind-blowing discovery lurking beneath the waves. Hidden grottos that'll make you pinch yourself to make sure you're not dreaming. These underwater mazes offer a blend of eerie caves and tunnels filled with bizarre rock formations and teeming marine life. Take, for instance, the Blue Grotto in Florida. Imagine plunging into a crescent-shaped sinkhole where the waters are as clear as glass and the depths plunge up to 100 feet. This magical spot lights up with limestone sparkles and ethereal blue hues, welcoming divers from rookies to pros, with areas for all to explore, from sunlit shallows to mysterious, shadowy depths.
The air bell is held to the ceiling of the cavern by the powerful buoyancy of all that air.
Or how about a jaunt to the Thunderball Grotto in the Bahamas? Yeah, the one from the James Bond movie. Dive through hidden underwater doors into a dome swamped with sunbeams shooting through the roof, painting everything in strokes of gold and blue. The scene's buzzing with vibrant fish flitting around, truly a spectacle. Don't forget the Devil's Grotto and Eden Rock in the Cayman Islands, where you weave through coral-laced tunnels packed with ocean life. Crystal clear waters make this a paradise for both the greenest rookies and seasoned dive masters. 13. Submerged Airfields. Ever thought you'd hear about World War II airfields lurking beneath the waves?
His Corsair sank a few miles south of the island of Oahu, and that's where we're diving today.
Divers have stumbled upon submerged airfields made from something called Marston mats, or pierced steel planking. These steel mats click together to whip up makeshift airstrips faster than you can say jackrabbit, mostly used in sandy or muddy spots during the war. What's left are full-on airfields now just chilling under the sea. Here's the kicker. Off the coast of Guam, divers found huge chunks of these mats. Each plank, about as tall as your average refrigerator is wide, was a piece of a puzzle that once helped win a war, now just part of the ocean floor scenery near Agate Beach. These discoveries aren't just cool artifacts. They're like a time capsule showing off the crazy ingenuity of wartime engineering. They're a reminder of the massive efforts and rapid movements that were all in a day's work during the war. Plus, amidst the planks and metal, there are all sorts of World War II treasures down there. Unexploded bombs, old anchors, you name it. 14. Bioluminescent Bays. Deep in the heart of Puerto Rico lies something straight out of a fairy tale, the glowing waters of Mosquito Bay. By night, this place turns into a spectacular scene, all thanks to millions of tiny critters known as dinoflagellates.
It's a bioluminescent plankton living in the bay that phosphoresces when you disturb the water.
Each time they get stirred up, say by a wave or a kayak paddle, they light up like a neon dance floor. Mosquito Bay isn't just any glowing spot, it's the brightest bioluminescent bay in the world, holding a Guinness World Record for its dazzling display, thanks to about 700,000 of these little light bulbs in every gallon of water. Kayaking here is like paddling through starlight. Each stroke sparks a ripple of blue-green brilliance. And over in La Parguera, they even let you swim among the stars. It's nothing short of magical. 15. Underwater temples. There's a city, Heracleion, also snazzily known as Thonis, that was once bustling right off the coast of Alexandria in the Mediterranean. This city was a major hub in the 8th century BC, frequented by none other than the legendary Hercules himself. Talk about a celebrity endorsement, right? Fast forward about 1,500 years, and bam, a natural blast sends the whole place underwater, lost to the waves, forgotten by time, until the year 2000, when underwater Indiana Jones, aka archaeologist Frank Godillo, stumbled upon it with some high-tech gear. divers swooping through the deep have dug up all sorts of bling, gold jewelry, massive temple columns, and even chunks of a ceremonial boat. And guess what? They even found a grand temple where Cleopatra might have been crowned. How's that for underwater treasure? 16. Glowing squid nest. Divers off the Turkish coast discovered a glowing squid nest. This nest is basically a gigantic, ghostly orb floating underwater about 13 feet across, pulsating with a strange, otherworldly light. Inside this massive sphere, millions of squid eggs, each casting an eerie glow in the dark depths, like tiny stars in a deep-sea galaxy. What's behind this underwater light show? It's all thanks to some clever bioluminescent bacteria known as Vibrio fischeri.
The starlight cameras reveal one of the little-known wonders of the world, and a key to finding the giant squid.
These little glow-in-the-dark buddies live in harmony with the squid, lighting up their world, literally, through a chemical reaction. This eerie glow isn't just for show. It's a survival tactic, helping the squid blend in and avoid becoming dinner for some hungry predator lurking above. Stumbling upon this glowing marvel wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was a dive into the hidden wonders of our oceans, revealing secrets of squid life and their radiant bacterial partners. 17. Coral spawning. In the dead of night, just after a full moon, something absolutely wild happens underwater.
400 species of coral across 3,000 reefs reproduce over a series of nights.
Every year, divers across the globe gear up for coral spawning, a mind-blowing natural show where corals go all out and release their gametes into the sea all at once. It's like an underwater dance party where everyone's invited to the reproduction rumba. This mass event typically peaks right after a full moon in the balmy nights of late spring or early summer. Timing it just right can be a bit of a magic trick, depending on moon phases, water warmth, and daylight hours. If you're lucky enough to be there, you'll see the ocean transform into a swirling galaxy of colorful egg and sperm bundles. It goes beyond just beauty. It's a survival strategy. By releasing millions of gametes at once, corals play the odds against predators, giving new life the best shot at taking root. 18. Underwater waterfall in Mauritius Island. Off the coast of Mauritius, there's a sight that could easily fool you into thinking you're looking at a massive underwater waterfall. But hold on, don't jump to conclusions just yet. It's all an optical illusion, and what an illusion it is. Located at the southwestern tip, near Le Morne Peninsula, this so-called waterfall isn't what it seems. It's actually a trick of the ocean's topography mixed with some nifty current work.
Here, an illusion of an underwater waterfall takes form, not from flowing water, but from the movement of sand and silt deposits.
The ocean floor takes a steep dive, dragging sand and silt along for the ride, which makes it look like a waterfall tumbling down into an abyss. From the sky, this spectacle is nothing short of breathtaking. The turquoise waters of the lagoon clash with the deep blues of the ocean, creating a dramatic scene that looks like it's straight out of a movie. The best view? Definitely from above, either by helicopter or drone, where you can really see the grand scale of this natural magic trick. 19. Verde Island Passage. Some intrepid divers off the Tasmanian coast stumbled upon a new gang of red handfish. And yes, these fish literally walk underwater with their fins. How bizarre is that? Previously, we thought there were only about 20 to 40 of these quirky critters left, but this find just doubled their squad. It's a big win for the underwater world, especially since these fish are super rare and face all sorts of challenges. Over in the Philippines, at the Verde Island Passage, which is basically the superhero headquarters of marine life, scientists from the California Academy of Sciences had a field day. They found flamboyant sea slugs, those gelatinous comb jellies, and flatworms that looked like they'd been dipped in a rainbow. This spot is a treasure trove of sea critters that are screaming for protection. 20. Lost treasure. Imagine diving deep into the ocean's abyss and stumbling upon chests spilling over with gold and jewels. It sounds like something straight out of a pirate movie, right? Well, this isn't just Hollywood magic, it's the real deal. Take the sunken Spanish ship Nuestra Señora de las Maravillas, for example. Back in 1656, this treasure-laden vessel was homeward bound, loaded with New World riches, when it tragically sank near the Bahamas. Fast forward to today, and thanks to some high-tech treasure mapping, over $100 million in relics, including shiny silver pesos and glinting gold jewelry, have been unearthed along a 2-mile stretch of seabed. It's almost too wild to believe. Then there's the Musi River in Indonesia, where divers have dredged up glittering gold and gem-encrusted statues from the ancient Srivijaya Empire. It's a breathtaking peek into a once-thriving hub of culture and trade, preserved in the murky depths. If these divers hadn't captured this incredible footage, no one would believe it. The ocean is full of mysteries, and what they find will leave you speechless. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more amazing discoveries, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. See you in the next one.